Okay, so for my June wrap up, the first book that I finished in June was called A Little Life. Now, this book actually took me a really long time to read, and I started it the month before, but it was hard for me to get into, and it was an audiobook, and it was like 32 hours long for the audiobook. And so I didn't finish it in time, and then my library had to like re-lend it to me after a couple of weeks. I had already waited like 30 weeks to get the book. It was just a whole thing. But regardless, once I did start getting into the book, I've got to say, first of all, it took me a long time to really get into it. There is so much backstory. I don't know. I know there's a lot of hype about people saying how much they really love the book and enjoy the book. For me personally, I think because I could relate to a lot of things in the book, I did not enjoy it as much as other people that have given it rave reviews. I just feel like it was super depressing, and it was good though, I guess, in that way, because it's an awareness for other people when you're not experiencing such a depression in your life. So maybe the book was just triggering for me, and I'm having a hard time seeing it that way. I'm not really quite sure what it is, but I don't know. It wasn't my favorite, so I would say it was good, but I personally wouldn't recommend it to someone else. I wouldn't be the person that says, yeah, you should really read that book, just because it really is heavy, and there's a lot of different things in there, and it's extremely long, and there's just a lot of character building, and I guess it's sort of necessary. For me, it was too long. I just feel like for me, my opinion, it was unnecessary to have all that backstory. But I can see why other people enjoy it. I suppose it just wasn't my thing. I could have done without it. Let's just say that. But I will also have a link down below so you can at least check it out for yourself, because again, everyone has different likes and things like that. The next book that I did read in June though was Ward D by Frida McFadden, which, if you have known me or followed me at all, you know that I'm a huge Frida fan. Frida is amazing. I loved Ward D. It was definitely intriguing and suspenseful and a little bit like unnerving. The thought of being locked in a psychiatric unit is definitely like terrifying, and she did a really great job with it. There was still like great surprises, great twists that I still couldn't predict. As much as I like to think that I'm like kind of close, she always knocks me out of the park at the end, and I get it wrong. So I could read books like that all the time. I love being thrown off. I've definitely like been able to predict some things here and there, but Frida is just one of those people, and I will say Riley Sager too. It's like every time I can't guess the twist that they're going to put in there. There are definitely other books where I'm like, okay, you can see where it's going. They kind of lead you in. It's like one of those movies, or like a romantic comedy. Like, you know what the end premise is going to be. It's not going to be perfect. You're not going to guess every little thing, obviously, but you have an idea of like where it's going in the storyline. And sometimes it's okay to have a predictable storyline. We like that, right? As humans. But I thoroughly enjoy my books being like, I'll just be reading and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, that's the best. Oh, I just got goosebumps doing that. And I will say, for some reason, that made me think of the book The Teacher by Frida McFadden. I read that a couple months ago, but that book, literally, that reaction I just made, I had that reaction when I was reading that book, like at the end. And my coworker can vouch for me because she was there when it happened. And I was like, I had no words. Like, oh, I love that book. Next one is Every Locked Door by Riley Sager. Oh my gosh. This book, I was here for it. Absolutely loved it. The cover that I read was pink, and so I think that kind of attracted me to it. I'm not gonna lie. And it was just such a good book. It was about this girl who's apartment sitting, and she's getting paid like $4,000 a month just to do that and like, you know, be in the apartment. And she knows it kind of sounds like too good to be true, but at the same time, everyone seems really nice and like outgoing, and she doesn't understand what the problem is. It's like a rich billionaire kind of place, and so she just kind of says, okay, great. And then she starts realizing that the person that was in before her apartment sitting, like, is mysteriously gone one day, and so she starts kind of figuring out that, okay, something's not right here, and this doesn't go well, and I'm getting a little creeped out now. And so the story starts to divulge, and she starts figuring things out. But again, the end of this story, there's just, I can't explain the twist. You would have to read it for yourself. It is absolutely captivating. It's just, oh, I loved it. It was so good. Definitely 5-star. I'll link all these books down below too, just so you can see them on Amazon if you're interested. Yes, I am an affiliate. I get a very small percentage, but I like to put them out there even if you don't get it through me, because it's just nice to share. The next one was Survive the Night by Riley Sager. Again, this man's writing is so great that this book mainly takes place riding in a car, and you're still enjoying every moment of it because it's just so intriguing. So this story is about the main character, Charlie. She's on a college campus, and all of a sudden there starts to be like a serial killer and people are disappearing, and she's like, all right, I just want to get out of here. Like, I'm done. I'm good. She has a boyfriend, but she already kind of knows that that's not really working out. And so she goes to like the college message board, runs into this guy, Josh, and is like, hey, he's like, hey, I'm looking to get out of here. Hey, me too. Let's go on a road trip together. We're going the same direction. Let's get the hell out of here. Cool. They go. As they're driving in the car, they're starting to get to know each other because they're like, awkward, we don't know each other. And then sometimes Josh will say something that contradicts something he said earlier. And so she starts to get a little bit like, what do I want to say? I guess I'll just say curious about, like, she's like, wait a minute, didn't you say this earlier? And he's like, oh, no, but I didn't mean it like that. And so he kind of starts backtracking. And so Charlie's starting to figure out, like, something's not right. I don't know if I like the vibe that's going on here. And so she wants to, like, pull off and go to the bathroom so she can call her boyfriend, and the story starts to unravel. Again, like, just when you think like, what's happening here, you don't. You're just like, wait, what? It's just, I love it. I could do this all day. I love it. The next one I read was The Silent Patient. For this one too, I had started it, and then for whatever reason, because I'm such a mood reader, I just like wasn't feeling it for some reason initially. So I kind of like put it down and went back and put it down and went back. And then once I was like, okay, you just got to sit with this one because everyone says it's great. I sat down with it, and then I was like flying through it. It was so good. This one is about a patient who is completely silent and doesn't want to talk, doesn't want to like anyone to know her story. Like, no one's going to understand her. And there's a therapist that comes in and is like, all right, I'm going to be the one. I'm going to be the miracle worker and figure it out and what's going on. And it's just it's a fantastic story. Definitely keeps you going. Very suspenseful. I would definitely recommend. I don't know if I would say there's any like major twists, but definitely still a worthwhile read for sure, in my opinion. And then the last book, so I read 6 books in June, and the last book I read was Holly by Stephen King. And I have not read a Stephen King book in a very long time, and for good reason. And actually, the only reason why I read this book is because I was looking for a new audiobook on my Libby app, and there was just not really much available that I wanted right away. And this just kind of popped up, and I was like, all right, I haven't read Stephen King in a while, and I kind of remember why. It's nothing against him. There's definitely a place for his writing, obviously. It's just his horror always has an extra component of like gore, and I don't know if I don't want to say the word without giving it away. I feel like it comes out pretty soon, but it may not, so I don't want to be a spoiler person. I will just say, like, his books just go next level for me of like gore, disgust. I don't know how else to put it without saying the actual word, and I don't want to spoil it if that's not on the back of the cover. I don't remember. So the story was good. I actually would recommend it to people, especially if you're okay with that kind of stuff. It was a really great storyline. It went well. There was just one component of it that I was like, I could have done without that because it makes me cringe. But the story itself was really good. It's about like a detective who is also she's like been hired as a private investigator. So not a detective, a private investigator to find a woman's daughter who's gone missing. And then as she's discovering the story, it turns out she finds like another kid went missing and another kid went missing, and it's all in the general area, and it all seems to have a lot of like similarities to it. And so she starts like really breaking it down and trying to figure out what the heck is going on here and like why it's happening. But it's also, this story is also from different perspectives, so it's really cool getting like all the sides of it. So I did still enjoy the story. I just could have done without one component of it, but I still enjoyed it. Okay, so I just decided to continue this video. So this will be the July portion of the books that I read because I never uploaded the June. So it is what it is, right? We're gonna do the July review, and then it's already August now, so I'm going to be going into making my August videos. So let's talk about the July. I read 1 physical book, 5 audiobooks, and 3 Kindle e-reader books. And so the first one I'll go over is a physical book, which is What If You and Me. This book was phenomenal. I loved it a lot. I've had it on my shelf for quite some time. I remember when I first picked it out, I was just so interested in it. It's like a friends, neighbors to romance, and it was really, really good. I really enjoyed it. The female main character was a like thriller podcaster of like true crime, and so that kind of engulfed me in it anyways, because I love reading psychological thrillers. But this had the romance component, so I really did enjoy that part as well. I believe I gave this one a 5-star. I really, really did enjoy it. The next one I read was The Drowning Woman. I've heard such mixed reviews on this. There are some people that really, really hated this book and thought that it was not well written and they predicted everything and they just didn't enjoy it. And I have the complete opposite opinion of that. I really enjoyed this book. I loved it a lot. I thought it was great. There was twists, turns, stuff that I didn't necessarily see coming. I thought it was well written, and I was pretty engulfed in it and finished it rather quickly. I really enjoyed that one, so I recommend The Drowning Woman. The next one was Reckless Girls. My best friend told me to read this one. I did enjoy this one as well. I thought it was, I don't know if I want to say unpredictable, but I definitely loved the flow of it. I think you can kind of see where some things are going to happen, but like sometimes that's nice. So I liked this one a lot as well. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good plot. I thought it had all the necessary components, and I would recommend. So Reckless Girls, also good. What Have We Done? I should be putting the authors, but you'll see them in the pictures. What Have We Done was okay. It was, not anything I'd write home about. I don't know if I'd necessarily recommend it. It was like a 3-star. It was okay. That's like a here nor there book, I guess. So, same with First Lie Wins. Is that the right one? Yeah, First Lie Wins. I also heard a lot of hype about this one. I don't know if I'm just getting in like the slump of thriller books and I've just had too many, but it wasn't bad. It just wasn't like, yes, So like, it was good. It just wasn't great, in my opinion. The next one I read was Pretty Little Wife. And this one was just like on my library app. So I think I must have found it. I don't know how I found this one. Let's just be honest. I have no idea. I did enjoy it though. It was really good. I didn't know what I was getting myself into when I read it because I like to go into a lot of books blind. And so I wasn't quite sure, about a couple of things. I feel like you really have to pay attention. That's probably my best advice, is really pay attention to the story and the characters and who's doing what, because there's a lot of different perspectives and it's good. I would just say I probably wasn't paying enough attention and I wish I had, but I was just kind of like, oh, I want to finish it. Which I know makes it sound like it was bad, but it wasn't. I did enjoy it. The next one is The Housemaid is Watching. I had to read the 3rd series in that. I would say I enjoyed the book. Is it as good as the first 2? No. Are they ever? no. I thought it was okay. I thought it was good. I know a lot of people also didn't feel as excited about that one, but I feel like there's so many mixed opinions because if you just read the first two and then you go into the third one, you're kind of like, wow, it's not as eventful and exciting as the first two. But if you're someone like me that has read the other two almost so long ago, that kind of like getting back into the characters was fun because I missed them. I hadn't had them for a while. And so it was still like a good book for me. So I think that those things need to be taken into account when people are talking about book recommendations. But I would recommend the entire trilogy to somebody. I enjoyed it. The other one I read was Final Girls. I really enjoyed this one as well. This is a Riley Sager book. I just really love his writing and I think he is great. And so far I've enjoyed every book that I've had. Some of course more than others. I think Every Locked Door is still probably one of my favorites so far this year. I just really enjoyed that one a lot. But Final Girls, good. I didn't really know what a final girl was before in the whole thriller genre until I read about it in here, and it makes sense now. I just didn't know that that was like a thing, but I did enjoy it and I would recommend it to others. And the last one I read was The Last Time I Lied. For some reason, this book took me a really long time to read, but again, I think I'm in like a psychological thriller kind of slump because I've read so many and I haven't mixed it up in between, and I usually mix in a little bit of romance. So I think I kind of just had to like wrap it up and be over with it. It's not that it wasn't good. Again, it was good. It just, I think I needed a break. So I would still recommend it to somebody else. I just, I don't think I would give it a 5-star, but it was still good. I still enjoyed it. But going into the month of August, the first week of August, I'm doing a 7-day challenge where I'm going to see how many books I can read within 7 days. If you don't already know, I am a mom of 3 and I have a full-time job. So it's going to be a lot for me to see how many books I can read. I have already, I've read for maybe about an hour today, and it's already 5 o'clock at night. And so I don't know how much I'm going to get through so far. But I'm reading so far a digital book and a physical book. So I have The Hotel Nantucket by Eileen Hildebrand. I can never say her name correctly, so correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. And then my other one is Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarbo. I don't know. It's like the sequel to The Fourth Wing. And so it's like what do they call it? A romantasy, because it's like romance and fantasy, like a little bit mixed in one. I like to always have a digital book because when I'm driving in the car or folding laundry, things like that, I could still read and listen while I'm doing something else. I really like to multitask in that way. And so that book though, the audiobook is like 28 hours long and I'm only like 2 hours into it. And then my Hotel Nantucket, I'm about 50 pages in. So, and it's only day 2 so far, but we'll see. I'm thinking, or I guess I'm thinking I'll probably get 3 books read. I would love to have 4 books read in 7 days. I don't think I've ever done that. Well, at least like in my adult life. And again, I have 3 kids, a full-time job, and a house to maintain and run. So how much reading I can get done, I don't know. We will see. But I do know that in my reading journal, I'm going to flip the page. As you can, July, I just kind of like faltered on the whole bottom part here. So getting back into things, I'm going to, let's actually see. I don't even know if I've tracked. No, January, February. Oh yeah, no. I only have a January, February, June, July. So March and April somehow got lost. So I'm going to jump in and get back into my book tracking because that's always fun. I have a little bit of leakage. I thought these pens weren't going to do that. So I don't really know what I'm going to do about that, but whatever. We'll figure it out. But yes, so that's where I'm going for the month of August. If you have an idea of a reading challenge I should do, please put it in the comments down below. I'm looking for ideas. So let me know. And if you have book recommendations, also down in the comments. I love to hear what you like to read. But thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you with my August challenge. I want to thank you for reading this video.